I am Hollywood. Hey, Love Buzz 1111, positive vibes. How are you? Listen, so the the defense is basically arguing that again, because Diddy didn't get money from it, then it can't be prostituting. It's it's a benign, but also an absurd, but also legally savvy argument. As we've seen in the Diddy trial, things that make sense in real life, if you can get around the legal happenings and doing, it could be different. Okay. And you could have the outcome that Diddy got, where he got off on the RICO. But here's the thing. Judge Aaron is looking that he doesn't want to go out on a ledge, maybe, and start a new precedent. But if he rules for Diddy's side, he is starting a very, very, very new precedence. Okay. And what is that precedence? The precedence is that Diddy basically that if you are a sex trafficker, right? And well, let's just say what happened. If you are a sex trafficker and you somehow make money on the dark web making smut films about donkeys, lions, chickens, geeses, and like all the inhabitants of the magic school bus, and you argue, well, I didn't get any money for it. Does that change the definition of what it is that you actually did? Now, I would argue, and I hope the U.S. Attorney's Office, we're waiting for them to respond, is also going to argue, we all know in today's day and age, you can have benefit outside of making money from it. Sex trafficking doesn't have to be that you're just like getting these people, or even the under the Mann Act, even the prostitute just to make money off of it. That would imply that you are a PIMP, which I think an argument can be made. But hear me out. Because on the World Wide Web, especially the dark web, when it comes to PDF files and weirdos and stuff like that, people that are into things that can wind you up in jail, okay? They have chat groups and they have a whole society and they have chat groups. And those chat groups, the only way you can get in is by trading, because they're so paranoid about being caught. They're so paranoid about they're so paranoid about getting caught. They're so paranoid about the feds infiltrating their chat that they make you show illegal material, kind of like you're showing ID to get into a club. There, you are running a ring, you are sex trafficking, or you are engaging in prostitution and moving prostitutes over state lines. You're doing all of that. The only thing is, what is it of value? Value can be more than money. But again, Diddy's team is trying to argue that value is only money, which oddly enough, that seems to be like what a lot of people in sorry, that seems to be what a lot of people in Diddy's life honestly argue. They seem to only value money and they seem to only value things that get money, right? Somebody's a good person, they can take you to the Met Gala. You don't even realize that you're the charity. That's a good deed he did, taking you to the Met Gala. Somebody's a good person, they can buy you Chanel, take you shopping for Gucci. How lowly do you have to think about yourself and be morally bankrupt? This is not even to say about the men that did this um like supported him to get a few dollars instead of doing an honest day's labor and getting a job at IKEA, building furniture. The whole point is, it's like we all know from the materialistic society and the people that surround Diddy, yeah, there's lots of things of value outside of money because that's what they're going for. They had the smecks, that is willfully caused. Shapiro realizes this kind of blows up her argument. So now she's interjecting. Your Honor, if I may respond, the judge looks at Diddy's defense attorney and says, Miss Shapiro, I'll give you time at closing. Miss Slavic, now he wants to talk to another U.S. attorney. Miss Slavic, the U.S. attorney Slavic. Your Honor, the record does not show that every time an escort traveled and had SMEX, that the SMEX act was filmed. They only say routinely filmed. He frequently filmed free calls or hotel nights. But, Your Honor, not all the time. So, why is this important? Because they are literally trying to say that Diddy was basically filming amateur bong chicka bong bong. And here's the thing, he only has 2 counts for the Mann Act, so they don't have to show every single time it was filmed. They can even, I don't think they'll give the ground, but they can be like, "Okay, fine. Maybe those 6 times you filmed it and you can say that was amateur P, but this time you didn't film it and you helped arrange travel and you did this and that. So that is prostituting. And that time you didn't film it and you helped arrange travel and your employee set up. So that's prostituting. So that's what they're saying. But right now they don't want to give up too much ground. Again, the Diddy docket has said that prostituting involves engaging and they're not saying this is the legal definition. That prostituting involves engaging, agreeing, or offering to engage in sexual conduct with another person in return for free. Again, I do want to know, was there ever a time that you engaged in smex with a person and they did not receive payment? And that you were not the person that paid them? Because we all know that Diddy was brown paper bagging. So USA Slavic, just to remind you, she's continued her argument, but let me just take it from the top. Your Honor, the record does not show that every time an escort traveled and had Smex with the Smex Act was filmed. They only say routinely filmed. He frequently filmed free calls or hotel nights, but not all the time. USA Slavic continues. Your Honor, the explicit videos chart show that there was travel for Smex, but sometimes there were no videos recovered of those encounters. We can pull up the exhibits. Judge actually cuts her off. Counselor, hold up. You argue that even if they were filmed, it wouldn't matter? USA Slavic. Right, 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 right. You got it. You got it. She literally was like, right. USA Slavic continues. Your Honor, the Mann Act criminalizes travel for prostituting, not filming smex. The test for symbolic speech is whether there is an intent to convey a meaning. The transportation conveys no message, so there is no symbolic speech here. She goes on to say, because she's cooking down, Your Honor, in O'Brien, the protected symbolic speech was the burning of draft cards. If you guys don't know, O'Brien case was when they literally tried to throw this person in jail because they were burning their draft cards and they were against the Vietnam War. And the government was like, that's government property. You're going to jail for destroying government property. And O'Brien was like, no, this is freedom of speech. I am making an unspoken statement by burning this draft card. Now, the unspoken statement is F you, but that is my freedom of speech, not destruction of government property. Anyway, USA Slavic said, and O'Brien, the protected symbolic speech was the burning of draft cards. Here, Your Honor, transportation is not symbolic speech. So then the judge interjects, and this is what worries me a little bit. Judge Aaron says, so if a movie producer is making pornographic, popolaphic films, are you saying the First Amendment is not implicated? USA Slavic, Your Honor, that's a closer call. Okay, that's a closer call. USA Slavic wants to clarify. She says, Your Honor, and the other cases cited, the producer said when they were transported, hey, we'll be filming a movie. Here, he only intended the individuals to engage in prostituting. The defendant here was not an amateur corn producer. And that is true. When you are an amateur corn producer, and if I was the U.S. Attorney's Office, I would go, if this argument does win, I hope it doesn't, but if it does, right? I would go after Diddy for tax evasion. Because if you were an amateur corn producer and you were paying people for work, where are the tax receipts? Where's the receipts? Where's the 1099s? Where's the W-2s? Where are the 1099s that you should have issued to these amateur corn actors, which are the hit with the ugly stick prostitutes? Where are they? Like, I want to know, where are they? Um, Again, if you are saying that this was, like Salvis has said, you never said, "Hey, we're filming." You never had, like, special lighting bought besides, like, demonic candles in a circle. But do you see what I'm saying? You cannot just say I cannot just say, "Hey, I'm an employee that works for Donald Trump." Because things can be need to be proven. You'd be like, if you're an employee, where's your employee benefits? Do you have an employee ID? Do you have a W-2? Do they pay you in a paycheck? Well, no, no, no. I mean, I work freelance. I'm a contract employee.